Hello and good morning on this daylight savings day. I'm sure you guys are happy that you got that extra hour. And welcome to this panel. You're gonna eat that. The symbolism of food and horror. We are the Color Fandom. Color Fandom is a geek group that started, I learned yesterday, almost 10 years ago. The reason that this social group was created on Meetup originally, is because there were people that would go to other geek events, and some of the conversations, some of the group itself either didn't look like us, or the conversations that we wanted to have weren't happening, whether concerned about race, LGBT identity, gender, just wasn't happening. And it was decided by this lovely lady right here, Donna, that she wanted to create a group where it is a safe space to talk about that. And I am proud to be part of it. We have some other Color Fandom folks here. But yeah, that's how this group started. We've done a couple panels here. We've done some diversity panels as well, but welcome and thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get started. A few things I do want to mention. We will be doing some spoilers for some of the movies we're covering. We're just focusing on a few movies. I have a list of the movies, so and we're going to go in the order that you see on the slide. So if there's a movie that you're like, please, I want to see this, I don't want to know anything about it, then you can leave when you see your movies coming on, and you can come back out, okay? And then we have a few videos, a few trailers, just for those of you who might not be familiar with the movies and just want to see a little bit about it. But we are going to be talking about the symbolism of food in horror. Oh, okay. All right. I will reintroduce myself. Oh, and just introduce myself. I am Donna. I'm Deborah.
Oh, did I even say my name?
No.
I'm early. Nice to meet you.
All right, so we're going to go through. I have a tendency to talk really loud. So if it gets to a point where we're not right in the mic and y'all can't hear us, just let us know. Okay, this is a small enough room that y'all can just shout it out. All right, so we're talking about the symbolism of food and horror, and I'm going to be going back and forth between a computer, that, and my phone. So if y'all could just have a little grace with me. So typically when we think about food, we think about the fact that it's essential, that we have a lot of pleasure in not just consuming it, but also in the preparation stage. A lot of times food is a part of our celebrations. But what happens when food is used to convey what is ugly, forbidden, isolating, and terrifying? And we see this happening in horror movies. So the horror genre has a history of turning what we love into something that we want to avoid at all costs, and that is what we're going to be exploring. Not just the terrifying necessity of food, but what it represents in these different films that we're going to be talking about. The movies that we've chosen use food very metaphorically, so they're not just for us to ingest and get healthy. Well, obviously we're not getting healthy on the food we're eating in this, but it's also used symbolically to represent other groups of people, other experiences people have, and things that we could find quite painful. So these are the movies we're talking about. We're going to look at Raw, Bones and All, Fresh, The Platform, The Menu, and Hunger. Has anyone seen any of these movies? Okay. Has anyone seen more than 2 of these movies? All right, good. All right, so what I also put on the slide is you'll see the different aspects of life that are represented that we're going to talk about. I got some of my research from online resources. I'm going to cite some of these resources, but at the end of the slideshow, there is a list of references. So there are articles, podcasts, videos I've seen, all of that type of stuff. I can be a little geeky when it comes to trying to do. I'm a teacher, so I like to have references.
And a doctor.
Yeah, so after working on the dissertation, I believe in citing my sources. All right, so when we, and y'all just jump in. Okay. So when we think about the characteristics of food and eating, so these are the things that we can typically relate to when we engage in food. The preparation aspect of food is the individual preparation. Also, a lot of times people, especially around either family events or cultural events, holidays often, it's a collective thing. So you're having a sense of community in the preparation. But even when we do it individually, we think about how much we are preparing for ourselves or for others. We put that love in it, not just the actual ingredients. There is the enjoyment itself, which is, of course, the presentation. I don't know how many of you have ever created a meal, but you are very much about how this thing is going to look when I have it on the plate, or even in bringing the food out to someone or something like that. So we think about the presentation, the flavor of it, the people who are enjoying it with us. A lot of our fellowship includes food. I know that every time I have something and these lovely people come over to the house, everybody's bringing food over. That's probably 90% of what we're doing is eating. Also, of course, people know about comfort food. Those days where it's been a tough day, I'm getting ready to eat a bunch of fries, or I'm going to be eating a whole lot of chips, or I need some cake. So we have that comfort food element too. And lastly, the representation. Many times we have special meals that are family meals. These are the things that we may have learned from our elders, and we pass that along. And these are things that our family likes to eat, but also very much cultural. Different cultures have different foods that are very specific to them.
I want to add to that where you put familial and cultural. I think, I don't know if it's going to fall under familial, but I mean, some people have found family, and that can be under friendships as well sometimes, where maybe whatever you no longer have that connection with your family, and you created this found family for yourself. So it's not only that, it's also friendships, even co-workers, where I'm sure all of you have had potlucks. That can be a danger for some people. But, that also, even work related, there's that as well, where you come together to have this meal for whatever holiday or just whatever you. So I think that can also add to it as well.
And also with cultural, we've seen over years this idea of fusion, so that different cultures come together and create something totally new. So there's that idea of experimentation, the idea of creativity, that's also a part of food and eating. Okay, so here's just a few articles. I actually have this posted on the reference page, but this was some of, these are two resources that I pulled that talked about food being used in horror and the elements of the fact that food may, in horror movies, it may be scarce, or it may be used in a way to torture, or if people are not able to get food or have to scrounge in a particular way, we see this kind of thing in horror. Now, we're going to talk about it more specifically with certain movies and how it's presented, but overall, food has often been used in horror. One of and we're going to mention, I was just going to mention Hannibal right quick. Do you want to say anything about it now, or just wait? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. I guess we can just start. With Hannibal, just to mention, because it's not on the slide,
right?
We're just going to say about Hannibal being like the OG
right.
to start off with. Especially with the TV version of it with the presentation.
Right.
You don't think about it when you're looking at it what it is.
Right.
But it's also used in a sexual manner as well, because of I mean, I don't care what they say.
Oh, yeah.
Hannibal and Will, they were together.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but it was also Hannibal used food to seduce Will.
He did.
And so that's the horror aspect, but he used it as a seduction method.
And then when Will finally gave in to, to eat, and then and then fully crossed over,
So we've seen in horror, food can be disgusting, it can be depicted as unappetizing, and that lack of enjoyment or community building related to food when it comes to horror. And also no comfort or pleasure in the act, or if there's pleasure in the act, sort of like talking about with Hannibal, it's at the demise of another person. And then often the food itself might be the taboo, which is cannibalism is a major taboo worldwide and time-wide. It has been seen as a major taboo. Now, I think 3 of the movies we're going to talk about deal with cannibalism in different ways. So not all of them. I mean, there are other ways that food can be taboo. So the first one we're talking about is definitely cannibalism. This is Raw. It's a 2016 French-Belgian movie. And at the time that I created the slide, which was actually close to early this year, it was streaming on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. So we know that things come and go off of Netflix. But I do have 2 videos to show from that movie. And then we're going to talk a little bit about it.